What Trump really destroyed? The dark truth behind USAID, I think is it called? I could be wrong. Please correct me in the comments. Yeah, I wanted to react to this on Sunday, but I couldn't because I was doing something a little more important. Usually I stream reactions on Sunday. That's just what it is. But yeah, I'm curious what she's gonna talk about here. I reacted to the last video about uh the whole election thing when the Democrats lost. To me, I'm a European, so I have no dog in this fight. I just look at it as a bystander, but I am very interested, and most of the time, I I don't know. I sometimes question especially what the Democrats are doing at the time. But yeah, let's just see what this is about. I'm curious. I'm very curious.
Donald Trump, along with Elon Musk, have created a new government agency called Doge. And what I originally thought was just an older sibling giving a younger sibling an unplugged video game controller actually
I just find it weird that like it's called Doge, like the meme dog. That's funny.
turned into a real thing. And their first order of business was dismantling USAID, an innocent government program that
Okay, it is USAID. Okay. I get it.
helped poor people all around the world. Or was it? Hello and welcome back to
Oh, is this the classic? Oh, we are collecting money for a certain purpose. However, that money isn't used for said purpose. We have that too, in Europe, especially in Germany, where we have, for example, a tax for environment, right? The funny part is that oftentimes that tax does not go to where it is supposed to go, which is the environment. They have, for example, used it for the pensions that people get, because pension money is no longer enough. That happens.
the ShoeOnHead channel. I am ShoeOnHead and I am not real. I am a figment of your imagination. You have been in a coma since 2012. Wake up.
Chat, we're schizo. Guys, we're just schizo. All of us. We see a woman that does not exist.
Wake up! Today we will be talking about the dark, seedy underbelly of USAID. This is a topic I've been interested in for a very long time now. And now that recently USAID has been in the news, I figured it is a perfect time to finally talk about it. All the mainstream liberal coverage I've seen of this has basically been late-night talk show hosts crying fake tears about it being dismantled, and all the mainstream Republican coverage has just been about all the
A huge problem that I see is that countries, this does not just go for the US, this goes also for me as a German, here in Germany, is that we are trying to help others when we can't even help ourselves. And I feel like that's kind of moronic. Because first we should need, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't help other countries if they are in fact in need. I'm just saying that maybe putting your own citizens first would be smart. Or smarter.
woke shit USAID was apparently funding. But I promise you, it is more than that. A lot more. If you're not a very political person and you only come here to consume the Reddit gender war slop, you should still stick around for this because this gets juicy. And remember, even if you're not interested in politics,
I wonder where all that money went. So she pretty much said that it did go to all the stupid woke stuff, right? That does not surprise me. That does in fact not surprise me.
politics is interested in you. And trust me, I understand why some people aren't interested in politics. It's confusing, it's stressful, it's a lot to keep up with. I feel like 500 things happen every single day. But thankfully, I have a tool to help with that. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, this video is sponsored.
This is a sponsor. The thing is this, right? The thing is this. Even if you are not a political person, it still affects you and it can screw you over. These people are regardless. Politicians are still interested in you as an apolitical person, which is why you should not, you don't necessarily need a deep knowledge, but you should, if you do vote, you should at least know what you're voting for. Also, they are interested in you regardless. she's correct. You may not be interested in politics, but they certainly are on you.
Sponsored by USAID. Just kidding. This video is sponsored by Ground News. Let's quickly give them a shout out and then we will jump back into this deep dive, shall we? Ground News is a website and an app that gives readers a fun and transparent way to read the news all across the political spectrum, from left, right, and center. Every story comes with a quick visual breakdown of political bias that helps you understand the full story and makes sure you're getting both sides. One of my favorite features of Ground News has to be the blind spot feature. It shows you news stories that have been covered by only one side of the political spectrum and ignored by the other side. For example, here is a story about how Elon Musk apparently pressured the Reddit CEO to moderate content on the site. Right away, we can see that the story has been covered by 12 sources, and out of these 12 sources, 75% lean left, and no right-wing sources have covered it. Ground News also makes it really easy to compare headlines to see how political bias or ownership can affect the framing of a story. For example, this right-wing headline about how Trump is taking executive action to make DC safe and beautiful, while this left-leaning headline frames the same story as Trump wants Washington, DC to be Berlin 1939? What? I've been using Ground
Hot take. I know this isn't a hot take, but I feel like journalists should be honest. Just me, though. And no matter where you look at, I feel like journalists are the bottom of the bottom. It is very interesting. Like, I often bring up the gaming journalists that are literally like worst people on the planet. Easily.
News for 4 years now because it's great, I love it, and it really helps me see how both sides frame things so differently. Best of all, I am currently offering 40% off their Vantage plan, which is what I use to access all of their amazing features. This comes out to only $5 a month. That's like the price of a coffee, and it is so worth it. It is one of the first apps I check in the morning. It's great. So go to ground.news/shoe or use the QR code on screen right here, or use the link in the video description down below. Again, that is ground.news/shoe, or click the link down below. I think what they're doing is super important because it helps people approach the news in a more fair and balanced way, and I feel like we need that now more than ever. So thank you to Ground News for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. Right?
Hey, I did not skip. I did not skip. I did not skip. I did watch it. I watch all ads from every video. I sometimes edit them out if I feel like nobody would want to have that. And if I know they're a scam, like BetterHelp or Honey or something like that. All good. It's all cool. Just don't scare me.
Now let's get back to this USAID deep dive, shall we? So, Donald Trump and Elon Musk created the Department of Government Efficiency, aka Doge. Get it? Like the Reddit meme from 2012? Epic bacon, my fellow memers. Honestly, who am I to talk about dead memes? My username is ShoeOnHead. So, Doge's supposed goal seems to be cutting useless spending the government is making us pay taxes on. Now, I
find that funny, though. You literally have a government, whatever you want to call it, right? And it's literally just called Doge. It's literally called after a meme. We should do that more often.
Very mixed feelings about taxes. From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. Taxation is theft! The tree of liberty will be refreshed with the blood of tyrants! My opinion has always been, if we are going to pay taxes in this country, could they at least go to things that actually help people, like Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security?
True and real! I agree! If I at least have to pay taxes, do something useful with my taxes! I don't want bridges that cannot be used. There's an infamous bridge here in Germany. Literally was entire documentation not entire documentation, but we have somebody who, like, shows, really weird investments of the government. So they build a bridge, right? Barely anything can drive on that bridge. In fact, that if something happens outside of that place, and the ambulance needs to reach that anything that's outside. The ambulance cannot use that bridge, which means it needs to drive around the entire city to get to its destination. You need to consider that. Or we build stairs, like stone stairs, right? The problem was that they literally built these stairs into the water. Now, this doesn't seem like a bad thing, right? You could just, you know, if it's a place where you could swim, you could just use it for swimming, right? It was not supposed to be on the water. The stairs were not supposed to be on the water. Or airports that never got finished and are now empty. Or you work on train stations and tunnels for like 15 years and they're still not done.
Child tax credits, firefighters fixing our bridges and roads, castrating pedophiles, government-funded girlfriends, things like that. And yes,
I'm for that. Government-funded girlfriends and the deletion of files. True and real.
we should be auditing the government. I think that's a good thing. Frankly, I don't care who does it as long as they do it well. Good things are good, bad things are bad. I'm anti-bad things, pro-good things. Those are my politics. And hating libertarians. Just kidding, I love libertarians. I get along great with them. As long as we don't talk about child labor. Anyway, Doge got straight to work, firing government workers and basically hiring my—
Huh? What do you mean, child labor? Who needs child labor? I'm just gonna use my viewers to make my low-quality t-shirts in my basement.
Twitter mutuals. What was once a theater kid-occupied government is now a right-wing schizo poster-occupied government. No, I am not joking.
So this is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online, so that would be one way that we could refer to him. He is now working at Musk's behest inside Doge.
If you had told me 10 years ago that Donald Trump and Elon Musk would hire
Big balls. It's working for the government. Somebody named Big Balls. Do with this what you will. That is funny, but it also scares me. Imagine memers working for your government.
hire some Zoomer named Big Balls to help audit the government. I'd believe it. Like, yeah, that checks out. They have no relevant experience. Most of them aren't old enough to rent a car. They're not even old enough to rent a car. They're in their 20s. We sent 18-year-olds to go die in the wars you cheerlead on, you evil—
This hag infuriates me. Can we stop infantilizing 20-plus-year-olds? You know, the reason why shit is as bad as it is because countries are led by people that should be in retirement homes. And by the time that these 20-something-year-olds are able to be part of the government, they should be in their retirement home as well. Stop infantilizing Zoomers. Thank you.
hag? Why are they so focused on the ages of these people when our government is basically a retirement home? But honestly, I don't blame Hillary Clinton. If I were her, I also—
Ours is too. Sometimes. And even we have somebody who is called the youngest old politician. Bro acts like he's in a retirement home, but he's like in his 30s. Talking to you, my guy. Even if I said the name, you wouldn't know.
also wouldn't want 22-year-olds in the government.
Oh.
Months before dismantling the Department of Education, or
Also a classic white monster. Needs to happen.
apparently Sesame Street, Doge's first order of business was dismantling USAID.
Without providing any proof, Elon said USAID is a criminal organization. Oh yeah, they're an international crime syndicate hell-bent on helping people.
Pretty f***ed up, huh? taking money away from an aid program that helps poor people all around the world. Except USAID was not exactly that. In fact, it doesn't even f***ing stand for aid. It stands for a United...
There's that, right? There's that. And then there's what we did. So what the government did in our country is there is something called, what do you call it? It's like a hotline for young people that have self-deletion thoughts, right? And the funny part is this is a non-profit. This is non-profit. They don't make any money. They don't really get paid. They do this for free. You know what the government did? They cut the funding. They cut the funding, which means it's going to be harder to help people that have self-deletion thoughts that call this number because they don't know where else to go. In contrast to this, where it's supposed to help people, but it doesn't.
United States Agency for International Development. It has f*** all to do with aid. But honestly, I don't blame you for thinking it does. After all, they do make the word aid a different color in the logo. Those sneaky bastards. Although it said USAID provides 42% of global aid, the truth is most of those funds are just spent paying US contractors and secretly conducting regime change all around the world. In fact, 80% of all USAID funding goes to just 75 organizations, while only 6% of that goes to aid. And by auditing USAID,
That's awful. That's awful. And they lie and make people believe that it's actually supposed to help people. Wow.
Doge exposed the true, real puppet masters behind the secret cabal of evil masterminds funding the woke ideology spreading all around the globe. You. Yes, it was you, American taxpayer. Turns out the deep state was the friends we made along the way. And yes, it's true, we are spending billions of dollars in our tax money to fund things like teaching Sri Lankan journalists how to avoid binary gendered language.
What? What the fuck? Why? I think Sri Lanka has some different issues than binary gendered language. Also, there's just two genders, men and women. Fight with me in the comments.
Combating disinformation in Kazakhstan, promoting inclusion.
Kazakhstan? Okay, promoting inclusion in Vietnam. I think Vietnam also has different issues than inclusion. Like, get the country financially on track. Thank you. Instead, help the people there. There's probably health issues. What else? Inclusion? In Vietnam? Just be careful if you. They are so inclusive that you don't know if you go to Vietnam if the she's actually if the her is actually in him.
In Vietnam. Millions to an Armenian LGBT group. Millions.
What? Millions to rebuild the Cuban media ecosystem. What? What is this? This is all... It's all woke. Always has been.
Millions to rebuild the Cuban media ecosystem, millions for LGBT causes in the Western Balkans,
millions for LGBT activism in Uganda? Do you know the way? Millions for atheism in Nepal? Why?
Millions for LGBT activism in Uganda.
Millions for male circumcisions around the world? Chad, they want to castrate us. Around the world. Protect your balls. the taxpayers in the USA are paying for ball removing. I mean, balls are not literally removed, but regardless.
Millions for atheism in Nepal, millions for male circumcision around the world, and $2 million for sex.
$2 million for sex changes in Guatemala? I don't think that sex changes in Guatemala are that common. That's like 0.0000 something. God damn it, bro. That is worse than what they're doing here in Europe. At least they're building bicycle roads in Peru.
Exchanges in Guatemala. And many other things that were so ridiculous I had to double check to make sure I wasn't being trolled. Taxpayer-funded sex changes in Guatemala? We don't even do that here! Now, you might be saying, Shoo, this seems like...
Wait. Okay. Let me think. There would be more stuff that is so ridiculous, in fact, that she didn't even show it because she had to double check. What the heck is going on? Where is your guys' taxpayer money going? I feel for you guys from the United States. This is terrible.
Some stupid anti-woke shit. And yeah, kind of. You got me. But I ask you, young naive liberal, why the f*** was John Bolton once the head of USAID? John Bolton, for those of you who are unaware, is an infamous neocon hack. He's literally criticized Trump for not being enough of a warmonger. Neocon hacks, for those same few of you who are unaware, are the people in our government responsible for meddling with other countries all around the world and getting us into wars for basically funsies. The people who suck the teat of Raytheon, Boeing, etc. The military-industrial complexes.
Interesting. There's literally a term for people that want to start wars for shits and giggles. Okay.
Favorite Discord kittens. These guys come in shades of red and blue. So why was John Bolton, a red guy, in charge of the same program, USAID, that is sending American taxpayer money to foreign countries to have things like trans pride parades? The truth is, the USAID thing goes a lot deeper than what a lot of Republican commentators are saying. It wasn't just a bunch of libtards in government wasting our money on stupid woke things. No, there's way more than that. You see, it's current year and we can't just do old-fashioned imperialism anymore. The people don't like that. It's a new era, so we have to dress it up in glitter and rainbows. To put it bluntly, USAID is nothing but another form of tax
war, but gay? Sure.
taxpayer-funded regime change, wearing an innocent mask of aid. Shut up, Shoo! You dumb bimbo populist! You reactionary shitlord! You cry, tears running down your fat, retarded face. The United States is just giving foreign countries billions of dollars out of the kindness of their hearts! Oh yeah? I have a lovely bridge on sale down the road. Would you like to buy it? Listen, despite all its faults, I love America, and I love the American people. But if you believe the corrupt, greedy bureaucrats running the deep state of this country do anything out of the kindness of their hearts, you are a sweet, innocent angel, and you need to be protected at all costs.
But you're also slightly naive and stupid. It is really rare case where a politician or government agency does anything from the kindness of their heart. That usually, I'm sorry, but that's usually not the case. This may sound harsh, but that's usually not the case. This doesn't happen often, if any time at all. Politicians, people that work for the government, they always have ulterior motives. They don't do anything of the kindness of their heart. I mean, I can guarantee you that all this money that was given away here, there's something attached to it. Something that has to pay back, something that needs to be done. I don't know.
Especially side-eye any leftist who has the nerve to run defense.
In addition to that, even if you consider all these good causes, right? Even if you do, who says that the countries that received the money actually did use it for said thing? We do not know.
For USAID, especially those who call themselves socialists or commies, considering the fact that USAID was basically originally created to destroy communist countries all around the world. Established in 1961 by President John F. Kennedy under the noble guise of aiding developing nations, USAID was, in many respects, an instrument during the Cold War to counter Soviet influence and keep the Third World from crafting its own socioeconomic model. A year after President John Kennedy created USAID in 1961, he told its directors that, as we do not want to send American troops to a great many areas where freedom may be under attack, we send you. It wasn't long before the CIA spotted an opportunity to extend its reach. In 1962, USAID launched its Office of Public Safety to send agents around the world under the guise of training police officers. But as it turned out, the trainers were busy teaching enhanced interrogation techniques, a euphemism for torture. The scandal broke out in 1966, and although the office was finally shut down in 1974, the dark practices persisted within military and intelligence circles. By 1980, USAID Administrator John
Interesting. So it was originally used to combat pretty much communism. That's what it was originally used for. And then it was probably so slowly turned into something else? Is that what's going on here?
Gilligan was candid enough to describe the agency as nothing more than a graduate school for the CIA. At one time, many aid field offices were infiltrated from top to bottom with CIA people, he said. It was pretty well known in the agency who they were and what they were up to. The idea was to plant operatives in every kind of activity we had overseas, government, volunteer, religious, every kind. USAID was quickly nicknamed the CIA's little sister. Oh, and here is John Bolton holding a trophy given to him by USAID in the
What? Okay, I do have a question. I do in fact have a question. Why is it a grenade? Why is it a grenade? Genuinely, why is it a grenade? And why is this man not in a retirement home?
shape of a hand grenade. Yeah, nothing to see here, folks. So let's talk about Zune Zaneo, shall we? Sit down. I love this story. Taken directly from Wikipedia, Zune Zaneo was an online social networking and microblogging service created by the United States Agency for International Development, aka USAID, and marketed to Cuban users. It was covertly developed as a long-term strategy to encourage Cuban youths to revolt against the nation's government. The developers aimed to use non-controversial content, such as sports and music, to build up subscribers and then to slowly introduce political messages through social bots to encourage dissent in an astroturfing initiative. So basically, USAID created a fake-ass social media platform in Cuba with our tax dollars, flooded it with bot content about like sports and music and whatever, just to make it seem normal, then slowly started to manipulate the users and create political division on the app between
Damn. Straight up, the United States was manipulating the people in Cuba and splitting them. That is crazy. The evil mastermind. At this point, it's good that they shut this down. Not gonna lie, that's really good.
Cuban citizens in order to create political chaos in this country and a potential uprising. So yeah, how dare we take money away from those starving undercover agents? To make things even more sus, the money we spent on Zune Zaneo was publicly documented as an unnamed project in Pakistan. Yes, this fake-ass...
Oh, let me get this straight. Taxpayer was used. Taxpayer money was used to create a platform in Cuba. That platform was used to cause division, to may cause an uprising, and they literally just put it on Pakistan. That is crazy.
Social media psyop they created in Cuba was documented by our government as being a project in Pakistan. Now, think of all the other weird shit USAID was supposedly funding. Those sex changes in Guatemala. Were they really sex changes in Guatemala? Or were they some covert psyop being done somewhere else in the world? I guess we'll never know now. Using social media to divide the masses and create political division. You don't think... No. They wouldn't do that. I mean, it's kind of weird they asked the former founder of Twitter to help with this project, but no. They would only do social...
That is wild. It's the good old divide and rule. But in this case, the United States is ruling there. Yet.
media psyops in other countries, right? Right? In March 2024, a document was exposed that revealed USAID was running covert psyops all around the internet in order to combat populist misinformation about the government on Twitch, Twitter, Reddit...
Twitch and Twitter? Reddit? Right, okay, Reddit doesn't surprise me. Twitter doesn't surprise me. Twitch? Twitch? Wouldn't it be smarter to YouTube?
Facebook, and 4chan.
Facebook as well and 4chan, but no YouTube? That surprises me, actually. That is just Twitch and not YouTube. That surprises me. But then again, we have people running around like, you know, Hassan in his group, so I guess, sure.
Although its internal justification was halting the flow of mis- and disinformation, it seemed particularly concerned with malinformation, a concept it defines as speech that is factually correct but misleading, i.e., bothersome truths the US government would prefer the public does not know. USAID suggests directing the public toward mainstream corporate sources of information and psychologically inoculating them against inconvenient facts that challenge US power by pre-bunking information before people see it. Pre-bunking includes discrediting the brand, the credibility, and reputation of those making false allegations. In other words, a state-directed attack against alternative media and critics of the US government. So basically, USAID was funding a bunch of dorks to go all around social media and be like,
actually, and then, we spread more false information. Okay.
Source? Every time someone criticizes the government. This is somehow more pathetic than when I used to use an alt account to defend myself on BreadTube subreddits. That is basically what our government was doing. Also, I like how this implies the people you call
That is super pathetic, though. You literally hire people on the internet to defend you. Just random dudes and dudettes. That is kind of pathetic. That's like a YouTuber releasing a video and a friend of his brigading that video so it doesn't get too much hate. Items.
Fed online might have actually been a Fed. There is a chance that you may have fought with a federal agent, a USAID federal agent on Twitter or 4chan. This also implies that, like, streamers and social media influencers you know may have been funded by USAID. But who? Who among us? Who would be willing to unquestion?
Who is the imposter? Who among us is the imposter? Is she gonna drop names? Is she gonna drop names? If she does drop names, that'd be incredibly based.
Enthusiastically suck establishment cock that hard.
For all the bad stuff America does around
Destiny? You gotta be shitting me. This is bait. Destiny? Destiny? What's next? You're gonna tell me, I don't know, some e-girl on Twitch as well?
around the world, USAID was just an organization that did a lot of nice things. Like, it put a lot of money into efforts to help people in a variety of ways, like both materially and culturally. It's just like a nice way for the United States to have a positive presence around the world.
For the record, I do not actually believe Destiny is being funded by USAID.
Okay, all good. I already got scared.
I just thought that transition was funny. I fucking love that quote, though. USAID was just a nice organization that did a lot of nice things, like culturally help people around the world. Culturally help people? Why are we in the business of cultural imperialism? Why do we have to culturally enrich Latin America or the f***ing Balkans? So not only are we the world police, but we are now the world HR department? No thank you.
World HR department. Also, can we leave other cultures alone? Thank you. Thank you. Leave Japan alone. Leave any other country alone. Stop thrusting your Western norms onto others. At least depending on, of course, there are things that should not happen, like cultures were doing it with animals. We don't need that. But yeah.
Why are we spending billions of dollars doing fuck-ass shit in other countries while ours crumbles? I don't care about teaching gender studies to Ugandans. The pothole in front of my house hasn't been filled in 3 years. These are my—
Also, didn't Uganda just illegalize gay marriage? Or being gay? I could be wrong, but I thought that was the case.
taxes, and I believe my taxes should go to help people in my country. I don't think that's controversial to say. And I know many conservatives agree with me. I'll always hear them say, we can't be spending money in Ukraine. We have to take care of our own. And then they just don't take care of their own. Because that's socialism or communism or something. Listen, do you actually want to take care of your own? Do you actually want your taxes to go towards helping the poor and sick and families in this country? Are you actually America first, or are you corpos and foreign countries first? I'm more than happy to work with you on good things to fix this country. But I don't think the establishment GOP is.
You don't want able-bodied workers on a program that is intended, for example, for single mothers with 2 small children who's just trying to make it. That's what Medicaid is for, not for 29-year-old males sitting on their couches playing video games. We're going to find those guys and we're going to send them back to work.
First of all, Medicaid is for anyone who needs it, period. And second of all, 29-year-old guys? You mean your fucking voter base? You mean the very demographic that—
The demographic that is gonna make you or break you, which in the last election certainly broke you. Also, I find it funny, like, oh, when like it's like women and other groups, it's like, oh yeah, we need to help those people. Oh, men who are suffering? Nah, go back to work, function. Shut the fuck up. I don't care if you're man, woman, anything between. If you need help, you should be able to get help. Does not matter. And the people who say like, no, fuck you.
that is shifting the entire country in your direction? Those guys? Yeah, we're just wasting so much money helping young men. Those greedy gamers just gobbling up all the tax money. Not massive tax cuts to corporations and the rich. Not all the money to the bloated military-industrial complex.
I find that pretty funny. I found that pretty funny. Because when you look at it, this seems like something the left would say. This is exactly what the left would say, actually. This is why I say, sometimes it's really just different skin, same nonsense.
Complex, no. Gamers. Young men who can't find a job, can't afford a house, can't afford college. Young men who can't build a family because of the society you created. Those guys, they need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and pay for their own Medicare. This care isn't for them, it's for women. What? Great to know both sides of the establishment fucking hate young men. Anyway, sorry, I popped off. Let's get back on topic. Now, USAID—
Why would you be sorry? I mean, it's true. Both sides do act like that. Both sides do act like that. There's not even a competition. Like, they act exactly like that. That reminds me of what she said to a while ago. One side is pull yourself up by your bootstraps. The other one says pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but here's how. But both sides still say, oh, you're the problem. Fix yourself. And I do kind of agree. Do try to fix yourself. Don't depend on the help of the government, because they're not doing anything.
USAID did do some good things, I won't deny that. But even some of the good things USAID did were nothing but a bunch of fronts. Using Cuba as an example again, because these are some of the only ones that have been exposed so far, there was a USAID program called the Travelers Project that was said to be an HIV prevention workshop. But yet again, it was nothing but another covert regime change psyop. This was exposed in 2014 by the Associated Press. Young Venezuelans and Peruvians were deployed.
Why do you have so much beef against Cuba? Calm down! Good God!
Deployed by USAID to Cuba's college campuses for $5.41 an hour. Really, USAID? Billions of dollars force feminizing mice and you can't even pay your spies a living wage? Sad. Anyway, they were used to recruit college students into political organizations with the goal of turning them against their government. The goal of, once again, creating political division. In the exposed memos about this, USAID called their HIV workshop the, quote, perfect excuse.
We love to see it. We love to see people saying they do something, and they do something else instead. We love liars.
Right. But we're totally funding DEI in Vietnam for pure humanitarian reasons, I'm sure. This was done so sloppily that even our boy John Bolton came out and disavowed it, but not without saying he thought it was a good idea in principle. Yes, it's a great idea to create taxpayer-funded secret psyops all over the world in order to f*** with other countries' politics. Just don't recruit teenagers to do it next time, okay? What? I honestly just think it's kind of funny we were funding anti-socialist agendas all around the world and disguising it as social progressivism. Don't think too hard about that one. Now, Cuba wasn't the only place USAID was culturally helping. On January 12th, 2010,
I mean, when you look at it, a lot of the progressive stuff is not because you are progressive, but because you're getting a benefit out of this. We're not funding gender change because of the good of our heart. We're funding it because we have an ulterior motive. Or we're not teaching critical race theory. We just like to create division among the different people in our country. We're not doing that to help people.
a 7.0 magnitude earthquake struck Haiti, killing 220,000 people, injuring another 300,000, and leaving 1.5 million more homeless. In the wake of the catastrophe, the United States provided $1.6 billion in reconstruction funding to Haiti, $651 million of which went to USAID. Rather than employing Haitian construction companies, USAID contracted out the rebuilding projects to international firms. For instance, Minnesota-based construction firm Thor was awarded $18 million in contracts, and Mexico-based firm Cemex received over $7 million. But by far the largest recipient of USAID funding in Haiti was Washington, D.C. based contractor Chemonics International, who received over $200 million to carry out a total of 141 projects. In fact, USAID awarded more money to Chemonics than to the entire Haitian government in the wake of the earthquake. An audit conducted on Chemonics
That kind of does not help. That kind of does not help them. That kind of does not help them. Why did you not put the money into... Interesting. Why did you not put the money into Haitian, maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong, my bad, companies to rebuild? Oh, that would have technically done well for the government and the economy. We can't do that. That's such a weird way to do things.
revealed that the company had a tendency to not finish jobs, evaluated its own project on arbitrary criteria not having to do anything with the project, and failed to set timelines, causing some projects to fall behind schedule. In one case, Chemonics was contracted to build Haiti's new parliament building, but what they constructed came out half-finished and unusable. The company only built the framework of the building, not even erecting interior walls to divide office spaces, nor did they bother to furnish the building. Left with this, the Haitian government was forced to draw $775,000 from its public treasury to complete the project. Despite these disastrous results, Chemonics to this day remains USAID's top contractor. The construction company was awarded—
That is so I feel like that's so scummy. I feel like that's so scummy. You're acting like you're helping people, but instead you're just filling your own pockets. I find that is so disgusting.
$506.4 million in contracts in 2021 alone. In a leaked email exposed by WikiLeaks, they described this tragedy as a gold rush, ensuring that it would be great for international companies. Seems like the only thing they are culturally helping is their own wallets, am I right? And you know how you always
good that they shut this down. I'll be honest, good that they shut this down.
hear about how poor people are in Venezuela and how the politicians are so rich and live in luxury? Yeah, part of that has to do with USAID. Billions of dollars of aid we sent to Venezuela just lined the pockets of US-backed politicians there. Only 2% of the aid we sent to Venezuela actually went to help Venezuelans. So at this point, the whole world was basically sick of USAID's bullshit. In 2013, Bolivian President Evo Morales expelled USAID officials from his country on the grounds that the agency had conspired against his government by allegedly manipulating social movements in the country. He also charged that a previous USAID program that sought to help cocoa farms switch to new crops was politically motivated. Russia expelled the agency in 2012 for similar reasons.
To simplify this entire thing, USAID is pretty much just an instrument for manipulation. That is it. It was created to create division, potentially even wars, filling your own pockets. That is... And people just ran with this and we're like, yo, it's actually just to help people. They picked this name 100% on purpose, so people would fall for it. At least the average person would fall for it.
Its foreign ministry argued in a statement that USAID attempts to influence political processes through its grants. And in February, Kenyan Cabinet Secretary Francis Kimimya claimed that his government had evidence that USAID had hired activists to organize anti-government protests in Nairobi in an effort to topple the government. Oh, and if you're wondering why so many news outlets and journalists were freaking out over the potential shutting down of USAID, yeah, it's probably because it's where their paychecks were coming from. Yeah, apparently USAID was funding about 6,200 journalists and—
Damn! That is actually peak manipulation, not gonna lie. This is easily... This goes down into history. It's one of the greatest, manipulation attempts around the world.
And 707 news outlets all across the world. Not even just America. For example, the editor-in-chief of a Ukrainian news outlet wrote that destroying USAID was a greater threat to Ukrainian journalism than the Russian invasion. What? There were independent outlets shutting down everywhere, including Russia after the USAID freeze. So we were apparently funding media in both Ukraine and Russia.
I'm playing both sides so that I always come out on top.
Serbia, Moldova, all across Latin America, independent outlets shutting down everywhere. All because the little sister of the CIA can't—
I wonder if there's news outlets here in Germany as well that shut down immediately after USAID was cooked. Interesting.
Hey no mo. So I have a question. Why the f were we funding media in all these other countries? Well, the CEO for the Center of Investigative Reporting, a USAID-supported Bosnian media organization, said it best. Quote, "If you are funded by the US government, there are certain topics that you would simply not go after, because the US government has its interests that are above all else." Oh, I guess that answers my question. USAID is also ridden with other scandals, such as covering up a child sex abuse ring in Kenya, kidnapping and
No! That is crazy! No! That is wild.
torturing people in Uruguay, forced sterilizing 300,000 Peruvian women, and the famous one you all know, funding drug production in Afghanistan. Oopsie poopsies, we did little fucky wuckies. Now think about all the other shit that hasn't been exposed. These aren't mistakes.
You guys paid for this. You guys paid for this. And you didn't even know. Maybe the citizens of their own country should force the government to be more transparent. If the governments were more transparent, this would never happen. Or it would be less likely to happen. That's terrible.
These aren't flukes, these aren't little fucky wuckies. This is what this program was set out to do. This is why it was created. We were quite literally funding Globo Homo as a sneaky way to do regime change and American intervention. Or do you think we're spending $1 million in Nepal to promote atheism because Hinduism is such a threat? You're cute. The United States won't sleep until there's an ugly progress flag hanging on a Starbucks on every corner of every street.
Never heard before that a Hindu committed any major crimes. Never heard of that. I don't think Hindus or Buddhism or Buddhists are a threat. Why are you promoting? I am 100. Even let's say it would have gone into like promoting atheism. Hot take: I think that a country without a society without religion will fall apart. Because I feel like that's what's happening now.
All over the world, from Latin America to the Middle East.
I mean, that could then be used to destabilize Nepal more.
Yes, the greatest American exports, butt, sex, and war. There are a shit ton of old left-wing articles you can find online spanning back to like 2010, even earlier, about how evil USAID is. Now suddenly liberals are acting like it's another fucking beacon of democracy that we have to cry and piss and shit about just because it's Trump getting rid of it. Frankly, I don't care. If they start dismantling things that I do care about, things that do actually help the American people, then I will care. Expose where the trillions of dollars we spent on the Iraq war went next, please. Or, you know, actually release the Epstein files.
Yeah, we're never seeing those. I feel like we're never seeing those. I've been waiting for these for a while. We're never seeing those.
Do I think Doge cut USAID because they're our great comrade in arms, cutting off the tentacles of American imperialism? No. Trump probably just cut it because he thought it was a woke, gay waste of money, and it was. But as far as I'm concerned, every article written about how bad dismantling it was written by John Bolton himself.
Likely. I mean, she's correct. It is woke bullshit. But the damage that has been done through that is much greater than just, removing woke bullshit.
The president of Colombia said, "Take your money with you. It's poison." All the sources I use in this video and all the information I got for this video will be in links down below. Feel free to do your own research as always. And if you like this video, please consider subscribing.
And as usual, the link to Shue's channel and her video is in the description. You know, always doing that.
A lot of you aren't subscribed apparently. You just watch and fuck off. I will find you.
I'm safe. Never mind. She will not come after me. But you should subscribe to me.
Also, this video is most likely going to be demonetized, so if you can and if you want to, please donate to me on Patreon, link down below. It helps the channel so much, and I appreciate it. And I will see you next time with a less serious, more fun video.
That is the end. So, pretty much, if we would summarize this, if we could summarize this, what this was, pretty much, is wiping out an incredible, evil government, institute. Likely just because, Trump thought it was woke bullshit. That is interesting. Once again, I'm a big advocate for governments being transparent about what the taxes are actually being used. Not just being saying what they're being used for, but that you as a citizen can actually look up where it went. I'm once again saying that. Because this is crazy. Literally taxpayers are paying the government to do really evil shit. I think that's crazy. I'm 100% sure that something like that in Europe also exists, I'll be real. But yeah, that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Take care.